Gulliver, Odesa, it's been coming under repeated assault really since Russia pulled out of the Black Sea grain export deal last week. What more can you tell us about this latest missile strike on Odesa?
Well, this is the worst strike on Odesa, the heaviest strike so far, and it's the fourth in 5 consecutive nights. It was the city centre that was hit partly, including the city's largest Orthodox cathedral, which is a historical monument. It was destroyed by the communists in 1936, but rebuilt a replica in 2005. In that area, some 5 apartment buildings at least have suffered significant damage. And also, as the spokeswoman for the Southern Military Command of Ukraine was at pains to point out, it was also the port infrastructure that was hit once again. It wasn't only the city centre. The Ukrainian authorities are also noting that of those 19 missiles that were fired at Odesa, there were 5 different kinds of missiles that were used, including hypersonic missiles, which is perhaps a way for the Russians to try to avoid the Ukrainian air defences.
Gulliver, you are just back from reporting from the front lines in the Zaporizhzhia region. Tell us a little bit more about how the Ukrainian counteroffensive is progressing.
Well, it's progressing slowly but surely. That's the message we got from all of the soldiers that we spoke to, but really extremely slowly. They were at pains to say that there are advances almost every day, but it's really a question of a few dozen meters sometimes. Really very slow, and the reason for this, the main reason everybody gave, is the minefields. It's just so densely mined there. They told us, deminers that we spoke to yesterday, that the Russians have put out their mines even dating from the Second World War, which are actually quite unlikely to explode. But of course you can't risk it. You have to advance extremely carefully and demine extremely carefully. Most of the more modern anti-personnel mines that are being used are made entirely of plastic, so they can't be detected by metal detectors. There are also mines that are delivered by rockets, which means that units moving forward can then find that there are new mines behind them for them to get back to their lines. So it's really extremely difficult. They also told us, soldiers we spoke to yesterday, that they actually expect it to get harder before it gets easier, because the areas they're currently advancing into are areas that were within range of Ukrainian artillery for months, not the areas where the Russians really had complete liberty to build their strongest defences, their deepest trenches and so on. So the stronger Russian lines are still ahead of the Ukrainian armed forces. Nevertheless, all the people we spoke to really had quite surprisingly, it seemed to me, high morale. They just seem extremely determined, and a refrain we kept hearing from them was, we don't have any choice, this is the only way to do it. Of course, they're asking the West to supply more equipment to make things easier, in particular drones that might be able to detect mines using heat-revealing cameras, and also, of course, fighter jets. They all are saying it would be so much easier to conduct this counteroffensive if only they had modern fighter jets.
OK, Gulliver, thank you so much for that. That is our Ukraine correspondent, Gulliver Cragg, joining us following yet another deadly overnight missile strike